Firstly, welcome to everyone, to, I guess, those in Australia. Happy Australia Day for yesterday. And today is a really great day for Dacxi, but also a great day for you guys. And it's a great day for, I guess what we're trying to build in the world of cryptocurrencies. I remember last time we launched the Blue Ocean bundle was an exciting time. For me, this next series of coin launches is going to be pretty exciting for us in the market. Today's the first of those many coins that was advertised. I'm not going to speak too much to it. Ed's could obviously touch base on it, but the reality is that we're a really strong, I guess, position as a company to I guess increase the amount of coins in our I guess suite of offerings. And I think the reality is once you actually see this coin and also do many over the next month, you'll see why I guess it's been a strategic position that Dacxi has taken with these coins, and why we think when it comes to wealth creation, every person globally, the UK and also to Australia, New Zealand, can see this as a win for us, but also to a win for themselves as they look to increase their wealth. So again, firstly, all welcome from the globe. And if I just introduce to everyone our chairman, or I think that's the best way to explain it now, Ed, the chairman of Dacxi Global, Ed Ludbrook.
Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, it's not really afternoon for anyone at the moment, unless you're hooking in from Vietnam or somewhere like that. Hey, look guys, it is a pleasure to be doing this presentation tonight. And rather than just talk about some new things that we're doing within the Dacxi ecosystem, what we wanted to do was to also provide some educational value, to give you some understanding of what we think is happening in the market. We believe at the moment the crypto market is going through some pretty substantial evolutionary changes. I think you'd agree, yeah? And we just wanted to give, we wanted to have a whole series of educational presentations just to give you a little bit more depth, a little bit more understanding of how the market is operating. And that also allows you to understand more about the strategic thinking behind Dacxi. 2022 will be a major year for us. To us, we see that our market will be increasing reflected, the brands that we're doing, the models and the performance that we're bringing to the marketplace, we think will be revealed in Technicolor this year. And so this is just part of a whole range of things that covers platform features, products, learning, education, insights, information, new markets, new platforms, and all the sort of things that we're doing. And so I hope you enjoy it. As I said, I've got a bit of a presentation that I want to do because I want to, as I said, give you a little bit of value. It's not, the idea is not for it to be a long presentation, and then obviously we want to talk about a new coin that we're going to be launching right now. Okay, so let's just, so can you all see that? Give me a yell, give me a thumbs up if you can see all that sort of stuff. Look, let me go through this presentation. As I said, it's not a major presentation here, but I think you'll get some real value out of it. And then we'll have time for Q&A, for questions and answers afterwards. So, everyone happy with that? Great. Okay, what we're going to talk about is actually what's called the Web3 revolution. And the reason why I call it a revolution, and the reason why this is the first of these educational series, is because the term Web3 is starting to dominate what's called the narrative in the crypto market. Okay, there's been so many new terms being launched. If you've been involved with crypto for a couple of years, you will know that whether it's NFTs and Web3s and DeFis and all of that sort of stuff, a lot of the sort of top level thinking is all about this Web3. And so what I want to do is to explain what that is. I'll be talking obviously about a new coin. I'll be talking about the performance of the marketplace. Please understand that this presentation is purely for educational reasons. Now, I wanted to ask you this question. Do you really have a crypto wealth mindset? And what I mean by that is that the vast majority of the crypto market either has a trading mindset or it has essentially a speculation mindset. And so when they look at the marketplace, they just see what's happening to Bitcoin today. Does everyone understand what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That when they look at this market, when they talk about what's happening in this market, everything is literally about short term. They're not learning anything about how this market's evolving, how the coins are evolving. And so for us as a company, we have always been focused on what we now call crypto wealth. And we believe that we are literally at the start of the marketplace. So when it comes to crypto trading, we think that is very developed. Speculation is what it is, but as far as creating a marketplace whereby people are building their wealth using crypto assets, that is a new concept, because understanding this concept of what is investable. So what is a crypto that you can have a multi-year vision is something that is actually pretty new in the crypto market. And I think those of you that have been involved in this industry for as long as I have, which I know some of you have, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about really looking at the assets and understanding them. And so for us as a company, when we look to how we believe the marketplace should look at crypto wealth, we know that people are new. So we need to have these introduction bundles, specifically the blue chip bundle. We think increasingly with the inflation issues that the precious metals bundle is going to be very interesting to people. But that concept we know it simplifies the entry for a lot of people. But what we also know is that as people get more engaged with Dacxi, as they get more engaged with crypto, the more they learn, the more they get interested in other assets. Would you agree? Yeah, you just naturally hear and learn more about it. You build your confidence. And so we want to split all of these coins, which, there are over 17,000 listed cryptocurrencies or crypto tokens at the moment. And so we want to separate what we call investable assets out. So we really define that in the market, so you really understand what that is. So anyone you talk to understands what that is. And really, when I was looking at it, I just think that it falls down to 3 areas. And when we as a company look at crypto, we look at it through this lens where we say, number one, what is the market opportunity for that coin? Do you know what I mean? What is the new thing that's created, or what is the problem that's being solved? What is the scale of that opportunity? How developed is that opportunity? So there's number one. Secondly is that within that, underneath the coin, forget the coin, but underneath that, how strong is the company? How strong is the products that they have, the platforms that they have, the promoters, the people? How strong is that within that opportunity? Are they new? Like if someone says, oh, I'm going to launch a new cryptocurrency to take on Bitcoin, would you give them any money? Do you know what I mean? That's a multi-trillion-dollar use case, but they just don't have the strength. So it's very important when you're looking at multi-year vision that that if you see an opportunity, you only really want to go with the coins that are large enough. And if the opportunity is not old enough, then it's probably not investable. It's probably far too speculative for someone to be looking on a multi-year view. And the last thing is just the intrinsic value of the coin. When you look at how the coin is used within their ecosystem, how is that coin as far as the tokenomics, as far as how that coin's being used, is it something that has real value? And trust me, when we look at coins, we really look at this in detail, because, it's not a decision of what, someone buying the coin today and maybe flicking it in 3 days' time. We're talking about, as some of you know, it's like, what are the things that I'd want my mother to buy today? All right. Something that's going to be, that I feel comfortable with her holding on a long-term basis. She buys it, she puts it in the bottom drawer. Okay, so that's our thought process as far as how we look at these sort of things. So when it comes to the first one, which is the market opportunity, that's the thing that relates to Web 3.3, Web 3.0. Look, another market opportunity obviously is a payment currency like Bitcoin. Yeah, that's another opportunity. So what we want to do is to really understand what it's meant by Web3, okay? And in reality, this marketplace is relatively new. So if you do the research on this, and I've done quite a bit of research on this, obviously, over the last couple of days, so I can present this to you in the most effective way. And there are a lot of different opinions about what is Web.3, what is Web3, okay? But essentially, it is what the word says. It's the Internet 3.0, where the first generation of the Internet was about just reading. So 1991 to 2004, which is the time frame they normally give it, which is basically says when you looked at the internet, you looked at something and you got information from it. Then what happened is the technology evolved. So we have what's been from 2004 until today, which is what they call Web 2.0, where basically you can read it, you can write it, you can interact with it. But the challenge with that is that it has created a form of centralization whereby what you can read and what you can do is controlled by very large organizations who take your data and then sell it back to you in the form of advertising or something like that. And what they're saying with Web3 is the new technology will not only allow you to read and write and interact with the internet, but you can actually start owning your own data. We can start controlling the data. We can start and through that we can decentralize. And so when they look at how that looks like as far as people are concerned, so that Web 1 is the information revolution, very much, Google, Craigslist, all of that sort of email world. Web 2 platforms, so it's Ubers, it's Facebooks, it's Twitter, it's social, it's video, it's being able to really connect to it. And the next one, the next side of it is ownership. And the reason why you can own it is because of what? What is the fundamental technology that allows you to own value and share value? And that the word there is, I heard you all scream it, is blockchain. Blockchain databases allow you to be able to have this sort of web revolution. And what it allows us to do is to create a decentralized open source world, whereby at the moment you get trapped into a sort of Facebook universe or a Google universe or a whatever the sort of things they create these environments and then they show you, they censor information, they can share fake news without you even knowing about it, as we sort of, I don't know about you, but we see a bit of that at the moment, whereby the internet will allow us to create an open source world. And fundamental to this is, you can see the smart contract platform. So a smart contract platform is a what? It is a blockchain platform. Does everyone understand it? So basically Web3, the fundamental building block is a new sort of database called a blockchain. And what that allows us to do is to own our data. It allows us to own our value. It allows us to share our value and our information without censorship and without some central organization trying to farm our value, take our value and control it. Now, in reality, this stuff is really super new, okay? You know, we are literally the equivalent of the internet of the sort of late 90s. We're in the middle of the dot-com boom, where we're building what was called infrastructure. But the differences in value terms, when you look at the internet, what happened is during 2019-20, which is what this graph says here. It says this shows the overall value of crypto. And you can see that in 2019, 2020, which is really two-thirds of that chart, the market barely moved. But in that period, there was enormous investment and development in this next generation blockchain technologies, whether it's the Dart blockchains or the connectors or the way they provide information or the way it can be used. All of that work has been done. And then finally, at the end of, around the end of 2020, and obviously last year, you have this crazy boom, which it may not seem much of a boom, but you know, you're talking about from $250 billion to $2.5 trillion. You're talking a 10x growth in less than a year. It was, you know, last year was crazy, right? It was crazy. And the coins that were the stars of that boom, they just went mad, all right? Now, those coins were not the coins that a company like ours would ever recommend on an early stage, because they're not investable. The area was too new. The coins were too new, okay? They're too speculative. For every coin that went mad like that, there was another 99 that flopped. Do you all understand that? Does everyone understand it? Give me a nod. Give me a nod that you understand it, because what happens is a lot of people go, oh, I missed out. I missed out. You know, I've got to go and start chasing things. But, you know, as I said, for everyone that went crazy that's now famous, a whole ton of them, you know, didn't succeed. For us, when we look at wealth, what we do is we look when they're proven. And what this is, what you can see here, is the top 24 coins as of coin market cap 1 hour ago, okay? And what I've highlighted here in red are the ones that are the Web3 infrastructure coins. I've put a black line through the coins that are just stable coins, so they're just the US dollar. But of those 24 coins, you can, of those 24 largest, most valuable coins, get rid of 5 of them that are US dollar, so you're down to 19. Well, you can see that 10 of those coins, 10 of them are Web3. That's the revolution that happened last year. Does everyone understand that? Led by Ethereum, which is an open source blockchain. Binance Chain, open source blockchain. Cardano, open source blockchain. Solana, open source blockchain. Polkadot provides connectors between these things. But, you know, if you look at whether it's Polygon, Cosmos, Chain, the difference is now is these coins are actually have real value. And that's not to say we're going to launch all these coins. We're not. But what it does, what I want to show you is that when it comes to the first point that you should be analyzing whether a currency is something that is investable, that it has the market opportunity, you now know that Web3 is this new market opportunity that has credibility. And if you want exposure to it, obviously, you probably got Ethereum. But now there are a range of other assets that now have proven that they have the value and the value to be able to go in there. So, these assets are all multi-billion-dollar value. Some of them are valued at tens of billions. In fact, Ethereum obviously in hundreds of billions. So that's huge, right? If it was a share, that would be huge, right? If a share is tens of billions, that's huge. And so it has that sort of value. And so when we look at Web3, what I want you to be just so clear about is that this is a whole new evolution. And what's happening now in the crypto world is everything involved, all the conversations around these coins, increasingly they're using the term Web3, where they've called them all sorts of other names, DeFi, blah, 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 blah. But increasingly, they're just being called Web3, right? Even NFTs are thrown into Web3. Even the metaverse is called Web3. So I watched a presentation today, which was a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, who's very famous in digital, was interviewing the CEO, Zuckerberg, who was Facebook, whose company Facebook's now called Meta. And just hearing him talk about Web3 and the metaverse. So that language is and what I want you to understand is that this is the start of an evolution of technologies based on blockchain. That's not just blockchain, it's also artificial intelligence, it's also the Internet of Things, it's also virtual reality and augmented reality. And together, this technology is going to create the next real digital revolution in the world. And at the base of this, what's fundamental you need to understand is that these technologies that we talk about, blockchain-based, crypto-based, Web3 technologies, are going to be at the heart of this global revolution that we don't even know how it's going to change your lives, right? Like, let's be honest, 20 years ago, I bet you couldn't even perceive how the world was going to change, right? Would you agree? You wouldn't even perceive, like some parts of it, let's be honest, seeing everyone just with their face on a phone is not a positive thing, okay? In the metaverse, I tell you what, there's large parts of the metaverse, I just think, it's like Ready Player One, if you've ever seen that movie, like it's sad. But the point is the major tech companies, you name it, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, they are all huge now in Web3, huge, trying to play catch up, trying to own it. So what I think will happen when you look at all those coins that I was showing you, when where we know that sort of 10 out of the top 19 cryptocurrencies on the planet of over 17,000 coins, okay, 10 out of the top 19 are Web3. I'm sure what will happen is that over the next couple of years, I believe there will be another very strong growth, but I think there will also be a shakeout. Do you understand what I mean? Like, the world doesn't need 50 independent blockchains. They only need a few. So there'll be a real focus on which ones will succeed and which ones aren't. And so we don't recommend that people own, eventually, when you learn about crypto, you won't just want to own Ethereum. I always think Ethereum will be one of the winners. But what you want to do is to look at some of the other ones as well. And that's why as a company, we added, with the Blue Ocean bundle, we added a couple of coins. And what we want to do is we want to now present a new coin for you. Okay? Exciting? We think it's exciting. So we're doing this because we now have that core group of people in the Dacxi world that are wanting to and are learning about crypto and are wanting to expand their portfolio. Does everyone understand it? Okay, we just want you to start expanding your portfolio. It increases your potential for opportunities. It also should naturally reduce your risk. So what we're going to launch today is this. Can you hear that?
Did you know that over 30% of people in the world today still don't have access to an effective bank account? Cardano aims to help these people to be able to receive, save, and spend their money securely using applications based on the Cardano platform. Cardano is a third-generation blockchain launched in 2017 by crypto pioneer Charles Hoskinson, who's also a co-founder of Ethereum. Cardano was designed to be a more scalable, secure, and efficient alternative to Ethereum and other decentralized application platforms. It's also the only blockchain platform to have been extensively peer-reviewed by the crypto industry. What's more, Cardano is one of the largest blockchains to use proof-of-stake consensus. Proof-of-stake is less energy-intensive than the proof-of-work algorithm used by Bitcoin. And what about the use case for Cardano? Well, it's, as we mentioned at the beginning, a good one. By enabling banking services to be made accessible to the 2.5 billion people who are unbanked, Cardano will solve a problem that's been holding back economic and social development in third world countries for decades. And you can buy Cardano now on the Dacxi exchange.
So Cardano is the new one. And I look for me, I just want to talk a little bit more about Cardano. So what we decided to do, we decided to present Cardano because, like a lot of these things, they're trying lots of different applications that relate to Cardano. And what Cardano is at the moment, it seems to want the people to focus on this, providing sort of a financial platform. In reality, it's doing a lot of other things. So when we talk about it like that. But what I also want to do is, when I look at this, when we analyze Cardano, that guy on the, that guy on the right-hand side is Charles Hoskinson, okay? And he is one of my heroes. This is the guy who's one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and he's the founder of Cardano. Some people can do it once, but to do it twice, this guy's got real talent. And the only reason he's not in Ethereum is because he had him and the other guys that worked with him, they wanted Ethereum to be much more commercial. And Vitalik, who's the other Ethereum guy, one of the other Ethereum, so they disagreed. So he then went off and he said, hey, I think that I can do what Ethereum is doing better. So that's why Cardano went straight into proof of stake rather than proof of work. And what's interesting is that Ethereum now, as you probably know, is changing to proof of stake following Charlie Hoskinson's lead. So he is a guy, obviously they've got a very strong team. What I also like about Cardano is that they are commercially savvy. Do you know what I mean? It's all very well being good at tech, but this next step of the industry, you want to be involved, certainly in a multi-year vision. Remember, we're not just looking about what's the price going to do tomorrow. We want to look at, hey, we buy this, we hold it, what's it going to look like in a year's time or so? And when it comes to the big fight, do you know what I mean? Where there are lots of these platforms, when there's a fight in the marketplace, I would prefer to put my money on an organization that is very commercially focused. Would you agree? Do you understand the logic here? It's, for me, it's commercially focused. It's very much like Dacxi. Like, we've got really very, very talented tech guys, but we pride ourselves on having a hell of a lot of very commercially savvy, experienced, gray-haired people in the company rather than a whole lot of young tech guys who know the technology, because at the end of the day, this thing has to be used. So as an ecosystem, it's really, really strong, okay? Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so the other thing is that, you know, I don't know how much you know about this, but when you talk about things like Ethereum, like Cardano, you look at your ecosystem. So it's not just the platform, it's what are all the other projects that are being developed around Cardano. Do you understand? Because these projects create the demand that drives the real intrinsic value of the coin. And what's happened is people have turned around and talked about Cardano recently, and they've just said, oh, well, you know, the price has gone down, and, you know, it's not, you know, there are other ones that are hot. But the difference is, if you analyze what Cardano is doing, over the last 3 to 4 months, they are launching numerous developments, including putting, you know, smart contract technology. And the other thing about Cardano is that it has certain technology that creates what are called staking pools. And what that means is that 70% of their coins are tied up in these pools, which drives the ecosystem of Cardano, okay? And they have probably more pools than any organization. For those of you that understand what I'm talking about, did you know that Cardano has over 3,000 pools? And what's important is that when it comes to these blockchains, speed is going to be everything. And they launched this year a thing called Hydra, which is a level 2 protocol. And what that does is it allows for the development of projects around pools, and each pool should do about 1,000 transactions per second. So if you imagine 1,000 transactions per second multiplied by 3,000 pools, it means that Cardano can do 3 million transactions per second. And if you know anything about crypto, all right, that is crazy fast. That is the fastest blockchain that I have ever heard of. You got to understand, Bitcoin does 7 transactions per second. That's why they don't think Visa can do 50,000. They're talking about other ones. They're talking about things like Ethereum being able to do hundreds, if not maybe thousands of transactions per second. And this new technological innovation, which is just going to be rolled out this year, will mean that Cardano will be able to do millions, 3 million transactions per second. And what that means is that it becomes a very attractive platform for major projects. So they have huge projects being rolled out in Africa. They're working with the government of Ethiopia about putting all of the education so people can't cheat. You know, they have a deal with New Balance where every shoe will have a token, will be tokenized, so they can prove the authenticity of their shoes, because they have huge amounts of fraud in some countries. For those of you that aren't techie, I get it, right? I'm talking French or Chinese or whatever language you don't understand. But as far as having confidence in this asset, this to me is the important stuff. This to me says, hey, look, these are guys that are focused commercially, that are launching technology that will give them the competitive advantage as far as speed, versatility, global usage, which will drive the intrinsic demand behind the coin. And that's the sort of stuff that's important. So it is on the Dacxi platform right now, okay? And I hope that you will take some of the money that hopefully you're putting aside and buy it, because all orders over $500, that's Australian dollars, 500 Australian dollars, which works out, I think, about 300 pounds. All those orders will get $20 of ADA, which is Cardano's currency. It's free, but you got to place your order by midnight on Sunday, right? What I want you to do is buy some Cardano, okay? You get the point. I've given my reasons. I'm not allowed to give financial advice, and I think it's a good asset. I think it's something that's I've always believed in Cardano. I think it's a really I think it's a really smart asset. So Web3, Cardano, start to get smart about the market. Everyone happy? Yeah.
Everyone happy. Does anyone have any questions they want to throw at Ed while he's online?
Yeah. Sherry has. We are just, I just can't see the chat. Hold up.
Just throw them into the chat. Yeah, throw a question in the chat.
Yeah, throwing the things. Look, this guy, Charlie Hoskinson, as I said, he's one of my heroes. You know, I think some guy, like that guy, what I like about him is really strong tech, but he has a commercial focus. You know, he's focused on what is going to be used to solve real, you know, major solutions in the marketplace. Him and the other commercial organizations that he's involved with that are based in Japan and Hong Kong, Africa and the United States, they are pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions into funding new projects on the Cardano blockchain. All of that creates demand. All of that creates long-term usage. So, okay, so the first question there, D, will Cardano be part of a bundle? It is highly likely that it will. What we're going to do, just so you know, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the structure of what's in the bundles, okay? We don't want to add more bundles, really. Do you know what I mean? The main purpose is, you know, when you talk to someone, you know, when you talk to someone who doesn't understand crypto, that in their head, they just think, I need to buy Bitcoin, right? I want to get into crypto, I need to buy Bitcoin. And what we need to do is to give them the simplest, easiest, smartest, most logical entry point. And we know that's a blue chip bundle. We've proven it over, you know, nearly 3 years that it's a smart thing to do. We have that, obviously, the precious metals that works. The issue really is what happens after that, whether we, you know, how we look at the blue ocean bundle, whether we add, whether we change something there, and really we want to ensure that the leading assets are in those bundles. Would you agree? You got to remember, in May 2020, Cardano was 2.5 cents. It then hit $3, and now is at $1. What is it, Brownie? $1.15.
$1.02.
What's that?
$1.02.
Yeah, you know, and that's cool. That's cool. In reality, launching this coin is really good time because it's gone up, you know, had this correction, and now it has. There's a lot of people saying a lot of positive things. A lot of the internet, the really credible people, have a lot of time now for Cardano. Which I like about it. And what I like about the news is that it's so much, the news is about new projects, you know, major technology. So yeah, we are just not yet. We're just not the next couple of months because of new coins and other things. Okay. So yeah, Sarah, wait, things. Okay. Okay, that's cool. James is asking about the enabling of deposit wallets for altcoins. We're just looking at that, James, at the moment. The challenge, just so you know, the challenge with holding a lot of these coins, we can do it in our cold wallet, but a lot of the you don't want to have to look after your own what's called node. If you understand crypto, you know, you want to in your major ones like Ethereum and Bitcoin, but if you have to look after all these nodes and the other coins, it's huge amount of work, you know, literally nearly a month work a year, because they're always developing it. So no, Leanne, it's not every, if you place an order that is a minimum of 500, you get $20. We just want to encourage you to do it. Okay, it's not $20 every 500. Like, holy crap, we actually, Leanne, like, we don't make a lot of money out of this. I don't think we'll make any money out of doing this. We just want to encourage you. Do you know what I mean? We just want to encourage you, get a bit of urgency. You know, raise your hand if you're going to buy some of this stuff. I hope you will, right? You want to get a bit of Cardano, right, in your portfolio. I think it's a smart thing. I've always, you know, the guys who know me, I've always been a fan of Cardano. You got to trust quality, right? And Charles and his crowd, you know, they're smart guys. The market is going to evolve. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of big supporters. If the big fight for the market gets ugly, you know, them and Ethereum should come through pretty strong. Okay. All right. Look, it's a lot of the questions are just comments. That's fantastic. If you have no other questions, we all good?
Just a quick one before we go. Is ADA able to be externally sent after purchase from Dacxi?
So can you buy it and then transfer it somewhere else? Yeah, should be like any other asset. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, that's great. Yeah, James. You know, I've always, when we were talking Blue Ocean, the only problem with Cardano was before we couldn't actually custody it. It was a security issue. The weird thing was that the biggest custody company in the planet who did everything else didn't do Cardano. Like, they do now. It's very important. You know, what will happen this year is this discussion around custody and security of assets will become a very, very, very big subject. And it's not just because of hacking, but because of regulations, because the market will want it. And so, yeah, that's why we didn't do Cardano before, but we can now. All right. Fantastic.
Thank you, Edward.
Thank you very much, guys. You either have a wonderful evening or a wonderful day. Look, really appreciate everyone. It's good. Lots of important things. Don't forget to get some Cardano.